Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So this young lady requested custard bread rolls in Nigeria. She's from Nigeria, and in Nigeria they call it poki or poki. I'm not sure how she pronounced it. It's Poki. She wanted to start a little business, so she wanted to start off by making these. So she asked me to do a video on it. All right, so thank you guys for stopping by, and let's get straight into the video. So the first thing I'm going to do is start off by making my custard. So I'm going to add my milk. I'm going to add some sugar, vanilla, cornstarch, and eggs, and just a little bit of salt. So because there's eggs in this can easily turn scrambled egg. So in order for that not to happen, we're going to start slowly by putting my stove on low. We're going to temper the egg slowly. All right, so I'm going to use a whisk to just whisk up my liquid ingredients while it's heating up, and then I gradually put my stove on medium as it starts to thicken. All right, so we don't want the eggs to scramble all over the place, so make sure that you start off slowly by whisking and whisking, and then you gradually put your heat up to medium until your custard is firm. The cornstarch is what's going to hold it together and make it becomes a little thicker. All right, and as it cools, it's going to get thick. So yes, as soon as it's nice and rich and smooth like this, you want to go ahead and turn your stove off, and then we're going to set it aside. I'm going to pour it into a different container and allow it to cool down, and as it cool down, it will get a little thicker. And this process don't take a long time. It took about less than 10 minutes to make this, less than 10 minutes. All right, so we're going to set it aside and then move on to making our dough. So for the dough, I have my warm milk. I added some sugar, and now I'm adding a packet of dry yeast, active dry yeast. I'm just going to mix that up and set it aside. In less than 5 minutes it will start become foamy, and then you know that your yeast is ready. All right, so set that aside and move on to the dry ingredients. I have 4.5 cups of flour, and I'm adding my salt. I'm just going to mix this up. By the way, guys, all the ingredients are going to be in the comment section on Facebook, and on YouTube you will find it in the description box. All right, so now I'm going to add some vanilla, and I'm going to add 1 egg as well, along with my milk and yeast mixture, and I'm going to add some butter. You can put this in your stand mixer, or you can just use your hands. Today I'm going to be using my hands, and I'm going to knead it just like how you'll see me knead any other dough. And remember, if you need like a larger portion, just go ahead and double up on the ingredients. And if you don't need this much, go ahead and cut the ingredients in half. And if you're using the yeast from the jar, 1 packet of yeast is equivalent to 2.25 teaspoons. All right, these are questions that are frequently asked, so that is why I am putting it out there. So my dough has formed nicely, and I am just going to knead it for 5 minutes, the least. All right, you want to knead it a little bit, so the least you can knead this for is 5 minutes, because you want this to be nice and soft. All right, so now that my dough is formed nicely, I am just going to grease it, put it in a bowl, and then I'm going to cover it with a plastic wrap and a towel, and place it somewhere warm in your kitchen. All right, because the yeast love warm stuff. So this was rising for about 1.5 hours, because I was busy doing something else in the kitchen. But the most you need is like 1 hour 15 minutes, or 1 hour, depending on how warm your kitchen is. It will take like up to 1 hour to rise. So I have punched it and released all the gas. Now I'm just gonna dust my counter, and we're gonna roll this out. I need this to be like in a rectangular shape, and sometimes it's very hard. So I'm just gonna go ahead and roll it out however I can roll it out, and then I'm gonna use a knife to cut off the rough edges and shape it into a rectangular shape. All right, so the next thing is I need this to be at least like 1/2 inch thick. I don't need it to be too thick, but at least 1/2 inch thick. So we're going to roll it out, and then I'm going to use a knife to cut off these rough edges and let it stay in a rectangular form. So now it's time to spread on the custard. So I'm just going to be using a spatula and I'm going to glide it on. You can add a little more than you see me adding right here, but don't add too much custard because you don't want a mess when it's time for it to roll. And I leave a little, about ½ inch at the end where I don't put any custard, because that's where I am going to roll it from. Right towards me at that very end, I leave at least ½ inch without any custard so that I can pinch and roll. Just like when I'm making the cinnamon rolls, that's the same rolling technique that we're going to use to make this. All right, so if you are interested in cinnamon rolls, you can go and check out my videos on that. So now I'm just going to lift the ends right there and I'm going to just roll it all the way down to the other end. All right, so you just want to take your time and roll it down, and then we are going to cut our rolls. So I'm going to try and get them at the same size. They're not all going to be in the same size, but I'm going to try. All right, so I'm going to use this knife to just mark them off, and then I'm going to use a bigger knife to cut them up. And you can use any other equipment that you have that can cut it fast and sharp without making a mess. Go ahead, but I'm going to be using a knife. And I already have a pan, a baking pan lined with parchment paper, and as soon as I cut them, I just place them on the baking pan. And you want to put them at least 1 inch or 2 inches apart, because you don't, they're going to rise and you don't want them to, stuck to each other too much. All right, so I am gonna set them aside again for about 30 minutes. Cover them with a plastic wrap just the same, and a paper towel, a kitchen towel, and place them somewhere warm for another 30 minutes for them to double in size, and then we're gonna pop them in the oven. I baked mine at 350 degrees for 15 minutes and they were ready. All right, so I'm gonna put some egg wash. You can put some egg wash or milk, just wipe it over the top and place them in the oven so that they can come out with a nice golden brown color. So as soon as they come out the oven, I have some butter already soft and waiting. I just brush it on the top. All right, so they came out really lovely, golden brown and beautiful, and yeah, very delicious. I hope that young lady is watching this video. A matter of fact, I'm going to share it with her and um, find her back in the messages and share the link with her so that she can watch it. And you can add, if you love a lot of filling, you could add more filling in there. I didn't add too much filling in mine, but you can add more, definitely. I'm going to break it so that you can see how nice and soft it is, and it was super delicious. Thank you guys so much for your love and your support towards my page and my channel. I really, really appreciate it, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and have a blessed and safe week. All right, and I'll see you guys in my next one.